that ye abstain from meats offered unto idol, and blood, and from things strangled, and from fornication, from which if ye keep yourselves, ye shall do well. Fare ye well. Go ahead, have good success in doing what the final say so of what I said. Because that's what the Spirit said to me. Because the Spirit is dealing with the head men. All right, you got a head man, then you have men under him that's able-bodied, that fear the Lord, men of truth. Okay, that's going to be with them helping that top guy. All right. So once again, we just read about Moses right there, that you must listen to the final say so of what he said, whatever matter there is. Then right here, Peter, he had the final say so. He said, hey, well, if you do these things and keep yourself, and this is the final say so, ye shall do well. All right, go ahead, fare ye well. All right. If you listen to the final say so of what he said, because he had the final say so because he was the top guy and he had went through all the things to be the top guy. Okay, not that he wanted that position, but the Lord made him that. Okay, the Lord made him that. One last example. First Maccabees chapter 14. This is First Maccabees chapter 14. I'm gonna start at 4 and then jump down. It says First Maccabees 14 and 4. As for the land of Judea, that was quiet all the days of Simon, for he sought the good of his nation in such wise as that evermore his authority and honor pleased them well. Okay, he said, because he sought the good of his nation in such wise, being wisdom. This is how he did it, in wisdom. Okay, now I'm gonna jump down to verse 41. First Maccabees chapter 14 verse 41, and it reads, also that the Jews and priests were well pleased that Simon should be their governor and high priest forever, until there shall arise a faithful prophet. Moreover, that he should be their captain and should take charge of the sanctuary, to set them over their works and over their country and over their armor and over the fortress, that I say he should take charge of the sanctuary. It says, besides this, that he should be obeyed of every man. I'm going to read that one again. It says, beside this, that he should be obeyed of every man. Simon should be obeyed of every man. Every man should obey him because he was the top guy. All right. He was the high priest. Okay. He was the captain. He took charge of the sanctuary. Okay, the Spirit was dealing with him. Okay, so much so that he should be obeyed of every man, and that all the writings in the country should be made in his name, and that he should be clothed in purple and wear gold. Also, that it should be lawful for none of the people or priests to break any of these things or to gainsay his words. You can't gainsay his words, or to gather an assembly in the country without him, or to be clothed in purple or wear a buckle of gold. And whosoever should do otherwise or break any of these things, he should be punished. Thus it liked all the people to deal with Simon, and to do as hath been said. Then Simon accepted hereof, and was well pleased to be high priest and captain and governor of the Jews and priests, and to defend them all. Okay, so the point is that you cannot gainsay what he said. Okay, that's why verse 44 also that it should be lawful for none of the people or priests to break any of these things or to gainsay his words. You can't gainsay his words because he's the top guy. The Most High is dealing with him first and foremost. All right, dealing with him first and foremost to tell the people how they should walk. Right? Like it said right here, Exodus 14. Right? I was just trying to read this again. Am I in the right spot? Oh no, Exodus 18. Right? Right. That it says that thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws and shalt show them the way wherein they must walk. So the same thing was going on with Simon. All right. Nobody should gainsay what he said because he was there to show them the way that they must walk and the work that they must do. And all men should obey him. All right. All men should take heed to him. All right. And walk in the way and conduct themselves in the way that he said. Because guess what? What he said is what the Spirit said. Okay? The Spirit of truth, who the Lord sent down and rested upon that man. So it was ultimately all coming from the Lord. Okay? So there were three examples. You had the example of Moses, the example of Peter, the example of Simon, that they had the final say so because they were walking in the Spirit and the Spirit had dealt with them to be top men at particular times. Okay? This is and because they had wisdom. All right? They had wisdom. This is Sirach 34 and 9. Sirach 34 and 9. How did they get that wisdom? It says, a man that hath traveled knoweth many things, and he that hath much experience will declare wisdom. He that hath no experience knoweth little, but he that hath traveled is full of prudence. When I have traveled, I saw many things. I understood more than I can express. I was oftentimes in danger of death, yet was I delivered because of these things. All right. So a man that have traveled knoweth many things. All right. So if you traveled in the Spirit, okay, and you've been dealing with the Spirit for years upon years upon years upon years upon years and growing and growing and growing, ultimately, if the Lord see fit for that particular man, all right, to be the top guy, then they're going to be the top guy because they went through the traveling that they had to go through. They went through the experience to declare the wisdom, to be the heads, to tell other people, all right, this is how you should walk. This is what you should do. This is what you should do. Okay? They've been through it. This is what who the Most High is going to use to be what the scriptures call elders, what the scriptures called masters. Okay? This is Sirach chapter 6. Chapter 6 verse, I'll start at 32. It says, my son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. And if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent. All right, because even the guys that ultimately are winding up being the top guys, like, you know, Moses, then you're talking about Peter and Simon, they were all taught first. They went all through the necessary experiences in growing into that elder. Okay? They all had to humble themselves first and be taught. They had to apply their mind, all right, first, okay? And through much experience, much traveling, they become into that, okay? Verse 33, if thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding, all right? You got to hear first. All right. And if thou bow thou ear, thou shalt be wise. Then you're going to be wise, going through the necessary rigmarole of what you have to go through. Okay. Verse 34, it says, stand in the multitude of elders. So the ones that's, because right here, verse 32, it says, my son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. Who is going to teach you? Verse 34, stand in the multitude of elders. How do you become an elder that's wise? You go through the experiences. You go traveling. All right, going through the necessary rigmarole to be called the elder according to the scriptures. Okay, you just don't pop on the scene after 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Oh, now you the man, you the head guy that we should all bow down our ear to and listen to. That don't make sense. According to what we reading, precept upon precept. You ain't gonna come in here no 5, 10 years and come over the elders that's been traveling and experiencing things in the spirit for 30 plus years. You're not gonna do it. Okay? It says, stand in the multitude of the elders, because those are the ones that's gonna teach you. It says, and cleave unto him that is wise. It says, be willing to hear every godly discourse. Be willing to hear what the top men got to say. Okay? Because the Lord is dealing with them top men. All right? That's been through all the experiences and the rigmarole and the discipline and the everything that they had to go through. The falling, the getting back up, the, them being taught some false doctrines, but then discerning through the spirit, like, oh, no, well, that was actually wrong. Okay? But it takes all these things to be there to be able to do that. All right. But it says, be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let not thy foot wear the steps of his door. And let thy foot wear the steps of his door. Always be unto him. I got questions. Please tell me this. Tell me that. Tell me how to walk. Because it says, I will give you pastors according to my heart that will feed you with knowledge and understanding. The same knowledge and understanding that you're going to need for your strength of salvation. Okay, if you want to be saved, you need this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Only way you're going to get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is bowing your ear down to the men that are wise. They became wise because they have been through the necessary things. Okay? So carrying on, I'm almost done too. Few more scriptures. Hebrews 5 and 12. All right, this is Hebrews 5 and 12. It says, for when for the time ye ought to be, wait a minute. Okay. It says, for when for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High God. We are gods. The Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are judges of all existence and kings. But guess what? We're in training right now. Okay? We're learning right now. Okay? So we all really should be teachers. But the first thing, we need one to teach us again. And who is going to teach us again? Whoever the elders are at that particular time. Okay? So it says, for when for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High God, and are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat. It says, for everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But strong meat, one that's going to be able to deal with the heavy matters, just like it's talked about Moses. All right, hey, when it's down to meat matters, then come to Moses. All right, but when it's little milk matters here and there, you go to the captains of hundreds, tens, go to the captains of hundreds, go to the captains of thousands. All right, but these meat matters, it says, but strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. To have their senses exercised, their understanding exercised to discern both good and evil, to discern both good doctrine and to discern both good doctrine and evil doctrine. What's right, what's the truth, and what's lies. What's good, true doctrine, and what's false doctrine. Okay, so there are some men that are able to tell you that's good doctrine right there. Ooh, that's bad doctrine right there. Don't forget that wisdom and knowledge increases over time. All right, so when one elder dies, more knowledge is going. So just like in the whole thing I was talking about the elder Abba Bivens. All right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play that video again a little bit. Watch this.
So you got some guys that still teach this. It says, Revelation 18:1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. Oh, I'm thinking about that thing that happened in Queens, a story of Queens, that they said it was a transformer that blew up and the sky lit up blue for 5-6 minutes.
Did I
Was
go
that
too
an
far?
angel? Or are they covering things up? We don't know. We'll find out.
Oh, I did. I went too far.
Anyway,
Salaki, sorry. All right.
It says Babylon is fallen and has become the habitation of devils. So Ariel would say that's when the white man came in and took down Gad, that's not true. All right. I told you, Ariel is a great teacher. The Spirit worked with him heavily, but he didn't have the whole thing. And
You see, he just said that his teacher, his elder, all right, went off on some things. He didn't have the whole thing. Okay, he didn't have the whole thing. He was given a measure. Okay.
Told me, I had videos of not videos but cassettes of Abba Bivens speaking, and he would break down things different from Ariel. So I said, well, Ariel, why is Abba teaching it this way? And Ariel used to say, well, Abba went off on that. So is it possible that High Priest Ariel went off on certain things? Yes, he did.
Exactly. So now, whoever is the top men on the planet at whatever particular time, because there will be order within the body of Yahweh Shah. So there is top men. There is a top man, then top men. Okay? According to everything that I've just been reading, right? So it just says right here, Hebrews 5:14, both strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. So at one point when the Lord was on Elder High Priest Ariah, his senses were exercised to discern that some of what his Elder Abba Bivens was teaching, some of it was wrong. Right? His senses were exercised enough to know, all right, what Elder Abba Bivens told that was good doctrine, and then what Elder Abba Bivens told that was wrong doctrine. Okay? So then after he passed away, then Elder High Priest Ariah became one of the top men, okay, who had his senses exercised. Now that Apostle Tahar is the top man, you know what I'm saying, and have his senses exercised because truth has been increased, All right, because we continually being perfected, we continually growing. All right, so Apostle Tahar and his continually growing and his senses being exercised by reason of use. Now the Lord is dealing with him to discern that, High Priest Elder Ariah, he had this right, but then he had these things wrong. And then Elder Tahar, Elder Apostle Tahar, he has his senses exercised to discern both good and evil. So he keep the good, that was the truth, and then the bad he corrects. All right, and then he gives us the correction because the Lord is dealing with him now. Okay, to tell the people. I might have to stay on this one. I might have to go back a couple times on this Exodus. All right, where it says Exodus 18 and 20, and thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and shalt show them the way wherein they must walk. Okay, so now Apostle Tahar is in a position where he tell the body that's here on the earth today how they must walk and the work that they must do. Okay, and it's really all coming from the Spirit. All right, just like Peter said, the Spirit. All right, it pleases the Spirit that you do these things. Okay, so this is what it's all about. All right, and you have to understand that whoever is the top men, you must listen to them. All right, it's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because if not, like it said in that Maccabees, that you're gonna be punished if you don't. Those who didn't listen to Simon and who gainsayed Simon, all right, because they thought they knew something. Oh, to them, this is what they believe, and this is how, to me, this is what this saying. You can't gainsay the men that the Lord put on the top. Okay? So it says, but strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised. Okay, now I got this word exercise. It says condition of being in active operation. You got to continue from the time you are heard, you hear the truth. All right, from the time that you are being bred, in the truth and have a measure. All right. Condition of being, you got to be active in operation. Practice for the sake of training. Exercise. All right. It says, all right, to put into active use, to make use of, also in regard to mental and spiritual training. All right, train, drill, discipline, educate, develop by practice. Okay, so they have also in regard to mental and spiritual training. Okay, so they have been training, exercise in the Spirit to discern what's good doctrine and what's bad doctrine. Okay, that's what it's all about. Okay, now one that's out here that's teaching, and you don't want to listen to Apostle Tahar, all right, and the apostles on down of Great Millstone, which are the top men on the planet Earth, all right, right now, then you saying you the top people on the earth. You're the top elders on the earth, okay? And you got to be careful if you're saying that. Okay, James 3:1, it says, my brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. All right, those who claiming that they some teachers and hey, I'm out here, I'm teaching, follow me. All right, man, that's something. It's beautiful and scary at the same time. It's beautiful if you're teaching the truth because their reward is going to be great in heaven. Okay. But if you teaching wrong doctrine, it says, my brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. If you teaching the wrong doctrine, if you telling people that you a teacher and you out doing videos thinking you breaking down the scriptures, okay, and you not teaching the right thing, you the worst of the 2/3, because you're gonna be held with a greater condemnation than just Junebug that ain't never known nothing and just just a nigga out in the street. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be held with a higher condemnation because now you got blood on your hands because people following you right into a ditch. Okay? This teaching thing is gravely serious. I mean, deadly serious. And it ain't out there just willy-nilly, oh, I know I'm an Israelite, so shit, I'm a teacher too. Shit. No, I ain't got to go up under him. I ain't got to listen to him. Shit, I'm a teacher too. That's the same thing they were saying with Moses. Oh, just the Lord just dealing with you. I said, okay, we'll see. And the same thing goes now. We'll see. You got to come up under the apostles of great millstone. Okay? And if you ain't coming up under them, at least you ain't scoffing them and you teaching the exact same doctrine. All right? But really, man, you learn from them. This is period, point blank, man. All right. But brethren, be not many masters, knowing that ye shall receive the greater condemnation. It says, for in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man and is able to bridle the whole body. Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouth that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. Behold, also the ships, which though they be so great and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, whithersoever the governor listeth. Even so, the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. A little fire kindleth. All right, same thing, man. A little lie or a little false doctrine, like I say, a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. You mess it all up. If you teaching one false thing, the spirit is undefiled. All right, it's pure. And the spirit that's dealing with, especially when you talk about his top men, because you got other men that's going to wind up being part of the elect that may, be into something, else. But then before the door of repentance closed, they going to repent of that and come and accept the knowledge of the truth. All right. That's why you have men, the apostles always say, you have men from these other groups like the IUIC and ISUPK and, whatever other group. Some of them gonna come out of any little madness and any leavening that they dealing with. They gonna come up out of that. You know what I'm saying? By the time the door of repentance closed, and they gonna come and accept the truth and be on one accord with the spirit and the men that the top men that the spirit is dealing with. Okay, that's why it says, man, behold, how great a matter of a little fire kindleth. All right. That's why jumping down to verse 10, it says, out of the same mouth proceeding blessings and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not be so. Doth a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter? Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries? Either the vine figs? So can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh. Whoever the Most High is dealing with, especially when you talk about the top guys, all right, he ain't gonna give them some lies and some truth. No, it's gonna be straight up truth. All right, who the spirit working with to give the truth to and the measure of understanding is straight up truth. That's it. That's gonna lead us to being purified and perfected and ultimately having salvation. All right, and being those top governing body in the kingdom. Okay. This is very serious. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. It says, This also know, this know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of themselves, of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truth breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fear.